So hello! On this channel we talk about independent spirituality and folk magic for free spirits. My name is Aster, and in today's video we are going to do something a little bit different. We are going to rank magical tools according to my personal opinion on how useful those items are. Maybe I am going to get called out in the comments. Well, I hope so. Maybe I'm going to get cancelled. Maybe it's going to be today, who knows? But either way, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's have fun, let's hang out, let's laugh a little bit, and dive right in. So I'm gonna have the screen of my computer on the video right now. It should be appearing on the video right now. And I have selected, I'm not sure if it's 20 or 21 magical items. I believe it's 21. We are going to rank them in the tiers of underrated, can be helpful, must have, I don't get the hype, don't waste your money, and if it makes you happy. So the purpose of this video is not really to tell you what you should or shouldn't get, even if some items here I think aren't helpful at all and you wouldn't miss out on anything if you didn't get them. I think some things in here you can totally live without, but the purpose of the video is just bringing a discussion. I want to know your opinion about the items. If you think they are if you disagree with me, no, actually I think this item is very useful because I use it like this, like that, so on, so forth. That other item, I really think it sucks because of X, Y, and Z. So it's just to promote exchange and see different opinions and different practices, I think it's going to be fun. So let's dive right in. Let's start with a classic, a timeless classic. It's something that is that has been associated with witches throughout centuries, I would say, which is the cauldron. The cauldron. In what level would I put it? I mean, even if it is something very much associated with the folklore and the mainstream imagery of the witch, and the pointy hat and the wart on the nose and the broom, I do think, oh, I forgot to include a broom in here. Wait a minute, I'm gonna put a broom. This is last minute. Wait, no, it has to be a witch broom, right? Wait, now we're talking. This one looks interesting. Let's see. Okay, we got ourselves a broom as well. There we go. Now, as I was saying, the cauldron. I like to avoid those things that represent the classical stereotype of the witch, but the cauldron is actually something very useful, and I would say that is something that you definitely must have. I'm gonna put it in the must-have category, and I'm gonna explain why. I am even going to grab my own little cauldron, which is not really a cauldron, but anyway. 1 minute. Oh, my leg is dormant. So the cauldron. I don't have a cauldron because those items are very expensive. Have you ever looked up an iron cauldron to buy? It is crazy expensive. So what I have is this little pan. It's a tiny pan. It's an iron, and I bought it for $4, €4 something, and I use it for burning things inside. It is really super useful for burning stuff. I emptied it before I moved, so all the ashes are gone, but I just accumulate ashes in here, and then at a certain moment I take the ashes out because ashes are also a good ingredient, So having a fire-safe container in which you can burn your stuff is very useful. So that's why a cauldron is something that you should have, in my opinion. So the cauldron is going in the must-have category. Then we have tarot cards. I am really not sure if the lighting is okay, if it is too dark. I think it's better like this. Tarot cards. Tarot cards. In which category I would put it? In my opinion, I would put tarot cards also in the must-have category because they are a very accessible divination system, and as a spiritual practitioner, you will need divination for spirit work, spirit communication in general, like ancestor work. You will need it. You will need a method of divination. And I think the tarot became so popular, so well known all over the place because it's a very well-rounded system. It is not super difficult to learn, and it is very complete. You can get pretty much any aspect of life and existence and so on through the cards. You can find almost anything through the tarot cards. So I think that as a divination system, it is super useful, and it is the one that everybody should try at least. For me, it's a must. I have several decks. I even got one here to show you. I never lose an opportunity of showcasing the pouches that I make for myself. They are not for sale, okay, because it's a lot of work making them, and I do everything. The bag, the embroidery. I am so proud of those bags. But that bag is for the Cats Rule the World tarot. Even with those little like indie decks, you can have very complete symbolism and any type of message concerning any type of issue, any type of question, it can come through using tarot cards. So this is by far my favorite divination method, and for me, it's a must. Now, the wand. The wand, I am going to have a controversial opinion about it. And I think some people will disagree with me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The wand, I'm gonna place it in I don't get the hype. Because honestly, I don't. Why? I mean, you have fingers. I just use my hand. Wands are used, for those of you who maybe don't know, wands are used for directing energy. Why get an object if you can just use your hands, your fingers? Like, I don't really get it. If you like to use wands, please tell me in the comments your reasoning for it, why you like it, why you prefer having a wand rather than just using your hands. Because like it's one more thing to have and to charge and to cleanse and to care for when you can just use your hands. I mean, and also like your breath, breathing energy into the things. I don't get the need of a wand. There, I've said it. And like I took this stick, which I find absolutely fabulous. I found this stick in the woods. It is a little bit like worn down by time and the seasons. I don't know which type of wood it is. I don't know from which tree it came from, but I find this stick absolutely gorgeous. When I saw it in the woods, I thought with myself, yeah, that's the one. I am taking it home. It's gonna be my wand. But I don't really feel called to use it. So I still have this stick. I keep it on my shelf there, and looking at it makes me happy, but I don't use it as a wand. Another thing that you could use as a wand are horns. But anyway, I don't see the point. I like using sticks and horns for grounding to keep me grounded during meditation. That's cool, that's good, I like it. But for directing energy, honestly, I am sorry, but I don't see the point and I don't get the hype for wands. Now, next we have crystals. I would say crystals can be helpful, but I wouldn't say they are a must. Crystals, they come from the earth, and the process through which each crystal is naturally made, makes them special and makes them charged with a certain type of energy. Even if you don't charge your crystals, they already come with a certain type of energy. I always wear a crystal, by the way, which is a rainbow obsidian. I always have this necklace on. I love it. It has a colorful shine to it. It is really beautiful and delicate and different. You know, I didn't even know rainbow obsidians existed until I found it by chance in a local market, like a town market kind of thing. And I have been using it daily ever since. I really like my obsidian. I also have an amethyst, a selenite wand, I have an aventurine, I have some little jars with different crystals in them, but the one that I do use all the time is the rainbow obsidian. Sometimes I use the amethyst for meditation, and sometimes I use the selenite wand for cleansing, especially when I get a new deck of cards. I place the amethyst on top of, not the amethyst, sorry. I place the selenite wand on top of it with some incense in the side. I'm sorry if I'm looking to like the side all the time, but the lighting is really bothering me. Like there's too much light coming in and my face is getting overexposed. This is really annoying. Yeah, I think it's better like this. I hope so. Now, Ouija board. Ouija board, spirit boards, they are super famous. Their reputation precedes them. I have to admit that I haven't personally used a spirit board. It is something that I have in the back of my head and I plan on doing sometime, but I don't currently have a spirit board, so I haven't used one yet. Where would I put it? I would say I would put it in if it makes you happy, because of all the history revolving around the spirit board and the like folklore regarding spirit boards, but I don't think it is necessary. I mean, it's a type of divination. It could be, I mean, divination is something very personal. So some people, they will get along with scrying. Some other people will prefer cards. Some other people will prefer a mirror for scrying. Others will prefer a body of water or a glass of water or a bowl of water. Others will prefer, I don't know, pendulums, or I mean, each person. There's also tea leaf reading, automatic writing, so on and so forth. There are many types of divination, bone throwing, dominoes, favomancy. There are so many different ways of performing divination, and each practitioner will find the method that works best for them. I mean, you're not gonna be a jack of all trades and master every divination method that exists. That's not necessary. That can be even a little draining because it takes a long time and a lot of practice to really be good at a divination system. So I think that a spirit board, if you are working a lot with spirits, it could be, or should I put it in can be useful? I think I'm gonna put it in can be useful instead, because depending on your style of practice, it can be useful. If you are dealing with spirits a lot, it could be useful for communicating and everything. So yeah, I would say it will depend on the type of practice that you have and your personal style, but an Ouija board is not for everybody, I would say, just because of like a personal thing. Now the next item is going to be the pendulum, which is another divination method, like I have mentioned just now. Also, I have never used a pendulum. I have never felt called to using a pendulum. Methods that I have used and I didn't really have a lot. I think it's just not for me. I have tried automatic writing and I stopped. I don't think it's for me. I have tried scrying with a mirror. I also think it's not for me. And what else have I tried? Tea leaf reading. I also think it's not really for me. So you gotta, fuck around and find out. You have to test a little bit of everything and see what sticks with you, what makes sense for you and for your practice. So a pendulum, I'm gonna put it in can be useful, can be helpful, I'm sorry. So it is going to depend on your practice, your style, your personality, and what exactly you want to get as a divination message. I don't think I am going to use pendulums. It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest, but it can be very helpful for other practitioners. It is something personal, so it will depend. Now, herbs. Herbs. For me, it's a must-have. Herbs are very much at the base of my practice. I use stuff like mugwort, rosemary, very frequently as teas and also like burning. Also, juniper is not really an herb, it's more like bush or something, a tree, I'm not sure. But plants, herbal stuff, it is very much part of my practice, and for me, it is a must. A must. And I think that connecting with plants can get you so much in your practice. Now, glass jars. It is something so, like, it stays kind of in the background. We don't give it enough credit, so I'm gonna put it in underrated. And I even have some glass jars here right beside me to give you some examples of glass jars. I have a little shelf situation going on there with many different jars with herbs, with plants, with etc., many little things, and I've never bought a glass jar to use as containers for my ingredients. That's why glass jars are so important. You need them to place your ingredients, to put your spells in it, also for oils, for powders. You need glass jars of all sizes and shapes and colors. So the ones I have here, this one is a lovely blue bottle, which used to be a tequila bottle. A tequila bottle. I have saved it because I thought it would be very useful. I have already used it for an oil, but now it is empty. I'm not sure what is going to be the next use for this bottle. My favorite bottle for oils are these ones. It's this product by Magick. It is a seasoning kind of sauce. It is very dark, it is black kinda, and I buy that thing only to get the bottle. I pour it down, I get the product and I pour it down in the sink. I don't use a drop of it, I just want the bottle. Like this bottle, the smallest one, you can see the difference in size, right? I paid €2.80, and this bottle has a very good little tip to get an oil out. It is perfect for putting oils, in my opinion. And if you would go online and look for those little bottles with a drop, like with a droplet, with that little thing that you press to get little drops out of the bottle, you would not pay €2.80 for each of them. So this is wonderful. Financially speaking, the bottles are dark, which is preferable for oils because it makes the oil last longer. And the little tiny dispenser, let's say, makes it perfect to not get too much oil out of the bottle when you are going to use it. So in this one, I have a protection oil, my protection oil that I use on a daily basis. And on this one I just got it like yesterday, and I am going to wash it in the dishwasher and store it to see what I'm gonna use it for next. But these bottles, they are such a find. Finally, I have here a tomato sauce jar. Tomato sauce. I used it, emptied the bottle, and painted the lid with black acrylic paint. And there you go. So whenever you are I do that all the time. When I am at the supermarket buying stuff, buying food, I choose many things because of the container, because of the glass jars, the glass bottles in which it comes. And sometimes even beauty products I choose because of the bottle, because of the jar that it comes in. I am in love with jars and I cannot deny it. So So when you are at the supermarket, at the store, buying something for yourself, make sure to choose your jars carefully and to keep them. After you have used the product, keep the jar because it is going to be useful for you afterwards. Not only for storing your ingredients, but also for oils, for spells, for powders, so on and so forth. Now, water. Water, I think, is something extremely underrated as well. Water is a spiritual conductor. Let's say, like, it's like an electricity wire. It brings the energy from one side to the other. I'm not sure if I'm making sense right now, but water is extremely important. And many people, they think that they need to go online and buy a lot of stuff that they don't know how to use when they just could have a candle and a glass of water to get things started. Water is a precious resource, not only for us, because we need to drink it to keep healthy, but also for spiritual practices. It is fundamental and it doesn't receive enough credit. Mirrors. I think mirrors have something very special to them because of their reflective surfaces, like mirrored boxes are something very special. And mirrors in itself, like just a mirror, you can do a lot with it. But at the same time, I don't think it is super necessary as a magical item. And also make sure to lock your mirrors, okay? Because they can be used as gateways, as doors for spirits to get into your house. So make sure to lock them. If I'm not mistaken, the Hearth Witch, she has a very good video about locking mirrors. You can look it up. So in which category I would put it? Can be helpful. If you want to use mirrors in a magical sense, they can definitely be very helpful. Now, next up we have grimoires. Grimoires are very much like one of those items that people overrate. They are important, but there's also like a glamorization of the grimoire and how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to be. And honestly, I am going to do a grimoire walkthrough because I have received that suggestion on my Patreon page. It definitely deserves a whole video for it, but my grimoire is just a binder. It doesn't have decorations, it doesn't have anything like out of the curve. Like it's nothing too fancy or too different. It's just a binder with blank paper in it, and there you go. I'm gonna show it to you. So my grimoire is a purple binder that I bought at the supermarket. It costed me less than €5. There you go, a binder. I think it looks kind of lame, to be honest, just like a regular binder. So I got some black velvet and I have an embroidery project going. I am embroidering this beautiful animal from the Brazilian fauna, which I decided I was the one who got to decide. Okay, it has been chosen and it is a final choice and universal. This animal is from now on called polka dot jaguar because I've said so. It's been decided. I'm sorry, scientists. Polka dot jaguar. So I am embroidering it since like a long time and I am far from finished, but I am planning on having it embroidered in white thread on black velvet, and then I'm gonna put it on top of the binder just to give it a more interesting look. And I got also some little thingies to put at the corners. It's in my drawer somewhere. Lighting is a little bit difficult today because I am using natural light and the light is outside. It is shifting all the time because it is kind of cloudy and then the sun comes up. I am so sorry. But as I was saying, purple binder, and I have dividers like this. I got a Dymo label maker just so I know what's in here. And let me see if I can show you something. There's a part of my grimoire that only has recipes. Where is it? Hesatus. For my offering, my weekly offerings. I'm gonna show you one. So this is a page from my grimoire. I like to put stickers on it, just, you know, so there's a little something going on. And I use some, what is it called? Lettering? Calligraphy? I'm not sure. I get those, one of those brush pens, and I do a little bit of a cute writing just to, you know, just to have a little something going on. But otherwise, this is just blank paper. This is blank paper with no lines. I make the holes with a like punch hole thing. And there you go. It's just white paper that I make holes in, and I put some stickers and I do some fancy looking letters on it just at the top, just for the title. And then I use regular black pens to write. And yeah, there you go. I leave some blank paper at the end, so it's ready to use in case I need it. Let me see if I can find some. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, I get some paper and I make the holes and I place them at the end of the grimoire just so it is ready to use when I need it. And yeah, there you go. I'm not gonna show a lot because I plan on doing a video exclusively about that, but a grimoire doesn't need to be this super fancy and expensive leather bound book with aged paper or aged looking paper and basilisk skin or whatever. Of course, it is very cool to have a book that looks like that, but you don't need this kind of thing. You can get a notebook from your local supermarket. You just need some kind of writing material to keep notes, to keep track of your dreams, to keep track of your spiritual encounters, your experiences, the spells that you're trying out, the result you got. It is kind of a mixture of a journal and a diary and spiritual experiences and experimentations. So it doesn't need to be Instagrammable, okay? It is a necessary item for you to keep track of everything you're doing spiritually, but it can be just a notebook, just a binder. Nobody has to see it if you don't want to show it to anyone, because it is also very personal. So yeah, there you go. It is necessary, but it doesn't need to be something you saw on Instagram or Pinterest, you know? It can be something very simple, just a binder and blank paper, and there you go. So a grimoire, I think it's a must-have, but you only make it look fancy if it makes you happy, all right? It's not necessary. Candles. Candles, I believe, are kinda, let me see, let me think. Oh, wait, I need to plug in the charger because I'm running out of battery there. Candles. I even got a candle here just to illustrate. Candles are an item very near and dear to my heart, but I think that people don't really get the purpose of candles and the symbolism and what candles actually do for us. So why are candles so much used in spiritual practices and, you know, witchcraft spells, whatever? Why candles? Like, why? What's the point? What's up with it? Because candles, they have everything from like earth. Let's say they have not everything from earth, that makes no sense, but they have all the elements represented in them. The fire, the wax that melts down. It is a very good connection point, let's say, between the physical and the ethereal, the immaterial, the spiritual. So that's why candles are so much used. And like I've mentioned earlier, sometimes just a glass of water and a candle can take you very far. So when it comes to spiritual practices, candles are a must, but like just a white candle, I think they are underrated. The power of a white candle and a glass of water is very much underrated. Now, next item, an athame. Athame is a little knife. I think we can call it. It's not really a knife. It is something different, but I'm not very well versed in the types of blades that exist out there. I know that there are knives and then there are swords. and there's something in between, which I forgot the name in English, punhal in Portuguese, which is like a double-edged blade that is bigger than a knife and smaller than a sword. That's the athame. I think that sharp objects, wait, I need to find out what it is called in English. A dagger. There you go, a dagger. Yeah. So a dagger has a very specific symbolism to it, and it is a weapon, right? So some entities, they like to have a dagger on their altar, and you need to have a dagger on you depending on the entity's spirits, whatever you're trying to reach out to, just to demonstrate that you can protect yourself if you need to, that you're not defenseless. Some people use daggers as conductors of energy, just like a wand. For that purpose, honestly, I don't really see the point, but when it comes to connecting to certain types of spirits and entities, I think that a dagger can be useful. So I'm gonna put it in can be helpful, depending on what you're doing. We are going to get, I promise you, we are going to get to don't waste your money and if it makes you happy. We are going to get there. We don't have any items in them yet, but we're gonna get there. So next up we have dirt. Dirt is something that, in my opinion, is underrated. People talk a lot about cemetery dirt, graveyard dirt, but that's not the only type of dirt that you can use in your spell work. You can also use the dirt of a certain place, like the dirt, imagine the dirt of the Amazon River. Imagine the energy accumulated in there. Imagine the vibration. Imagine what you can get out of this type of dirt. Imagine the dirt of a prison, the dirt of an abandoned house, the dirt of a bank, the dirt from a courthouse. You see where I'm going with this? So depending on your intention and what you're trying to do with your spell, dirt is something very powerful and it is super grounded. After all, it is literally from the ground, right? So dirt is very much underrated in my opinion and very useful. Next up we have bowls. Bowls, just like tiny bowl. I also think that bowls, no, let me think. I think bowls are a must-have because you need bowls to place food offerings. You need bowls to place, like to put water. This is something that I actually still want to do. I still want to try, which is scrying with water. Something tells me that I am going to have interesting results out of it, but I don't know what I'm waiting for. I should just get a bowl in the kitchen and give it a try. But bowls are very useful, and whatever bowl you use for spiritual purposes, you should only use it for that. You shouldn't have this little bowl that you use for putting food offerings on your altar and then have it in the kitchen to put mayonnaise or whatever. It should be separated, okay? So that's why I haven't tried water divination yet, because I don't have a bowl that is specific for that purpose. I am thinking about buying one, but I haven't done it yet. Anyway, next up we have essential oils. Let me think for a moment. I would also put essential oils in can be helpful because they are very concentrated extracts of certain plants and herbs and whatnot. So like for example, I have certain oils that I make for myself that I want to put orange in it. So instead of going through the trouble of drying down oranges slices, I can just get orange essential oil. It's gonna save me so much time, so much, trouble, and, it's so much easier to just get a tiny little bottle of essential oil, and there you have it. I have the ingredients that I need without all the struggle of drying it, etc., so on and so forth. But you have to be mindful and careful about essential oils because not all of them can be applied on your skin. You should really do some research before using essential oils to make sure that it is safe, okay? And they are not to be eaten, all right? Essential oils are not for eating. Now, witchcraft kit. I have included this item because not only have I seen it on Amazon, for example, witchcraft kit, which consists of some box with a selection of crystals and herbs and colorful candles. When I first saw that, I was kind of, excuse me, what's that supposed to be? And then the other day, I got a comment here on YouTube telling me, like a person telling me that they bought a witchcraft kit, but they had no idea how to use it. And they wanted my help to like, what do I do? They were really lost about getting started. And I can tell you, witchcraft kit, do not waste your money on this kind of thing, okay? Because it's just a bunch of random ingredients that if you are starting out, you're not gonna know how to use that and how to put it together to amount to anything. Like, first thing you should do as a beginner is watch my video with book recommendations for beginners and also my tips on how to start in witchcraft. I am going to link those videos up in the cards and also down below in the description. In those videos, I give a lot of, people have told me in the comments that my videos are useful, so I am going to trust them. If they told me it's useful, it probably is. So I'm gonna refer to those videos for the beginners that are maybe watching this. Take a look at them because I'm pretty sure that you're gonna find some useful information on how to get started. Something that you should not do at the very beginning is go around wasting money on stuff that you don't know how to use. And the witchcraft kit, in my opinion, it's pretty much useless. That's not, it's just a money grab, you know? They just put witchcraft on it, the name, like the word witchcraft, just to get traffic for the product and get it sold. You don't want a witchcraft kit. You want knowledge before starting your practice. Now, next up we have decks of spells. Another thing that you can find on Amazon are spell decks. I'm gonna place them in don't waste your money also because they are pretty much useless. I don't mean to shame the authors because, like, for example, there's the Wikipedia deck of spells. That deck is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. I would have it only for how beautiful it is. It is really something gorgeous to look at. But decks of spells are not effective in my opinion, and they can have very random stuff in them. So I don't recommend you getting a deck of spells. As a matter of fact, I do have one deck of spells, which is the Practical Witches Spell Deck. 100 spells for love, happiness, and success. I bought it just out of curiosity because it was really not expensive. It was around like 10 bucks and I was curious about it. It comes with a little booklet. The booklet's kind of nice. It talks about some basic concepts. The Witch's Toolkit, charging a ritual, setting up an altar. It is very small, literally small and like short, but it has some, you know, food for thought, some little things for you to think about. But in my opinion, you should develop your own spells, your own recipes. How does this open? I forgot. I'm not able to open the thing. My God. Damn it. Just because I was bad-mouthing it, now I'm not able to open it. That's karma right there. You are seeing a live demonstration of karma, you guys. Damn it. Oh, there. I've opened it. Okay, let's see this deck. I'm gonna shuffle this thing a little bit and, I don't know, get some random spell out of it. We have here, I don't know, love spell. Love spell. Okay. Lust dust. Amber oil, vanilla oil, lotus root powder, and cinnamon. I mean, you can get some inspiration, you can get some ideas, but a witch should know what to do. I mean, no. I've never used anything from this deck of spells. It's It's not something that I recommend. It is very cute and it's nicely done in my opinion, but it is not useful. I mean, get a book that talks about herbs, cross references between different sources of information, and put together your own ritual, okay? Deck spells and also books of spells, I don't really recommend it. I don't know. I think that you should get your own rituals and your own recipes because it is going to resonate much more with what you're going through and the results that you want. You are going to feel what to use, how much, and how. Honestly, witchcraft kits and decks of spells, also books of spells, don't waste your money. Craft, it's called a craft for a reason, because it is something that you do yourself, and that includes putting together spells and rituals. It's not that difficult. There is a lot of symbolism. I mean, anyway, I'm not gonna get into spell crafting right now because I've been sitting here for 1 hour already, okay? And I need to film another video before my flatmates arrive home from work. So, next up we have crystal ball. The crystal ball is another way of, it is a very nice decorative object in my opinion. It is super beautiful, but many people use it to do scrying. I think that it's the kind of thing like, if it makes you happy, it's not really necessary. You can stare into a pool of water and do scrying. You don't need to buy something expensive like a crystal ball in order to do that. Next up we have books. Books. In my opinion, it's a must-have. No, I'm gonna put it in can be helpful because it is going to depend on the book. Nowadays, there's a lot of witchcraft, spirituality, whatever books. I think this market is even like oversaturated because everybody wants to write a witchcraft book, a beginner's guide, whatever. And not everybody who is publishing books necessarily know what they're talking about, or, I mean, many people, they just want to sell. They just want an easy money grab. They see that witchcraft is on the rise on the internet. There's a lot of hype around this word and people want to sell. So you can't blindly trust everything that you find, every book, every author, but of course that there are very like reliable sources of information out there in the format of books. So it is something that you need to look into and make sure that you are getting a good material, you know, to read, good reading material. But books are, depending on the author, books combined with practicing, it is fundamental. We have bones. Bones. I would say bones can be helpful because bones are a very strong tag lock. It's been part of somebody's body, literally. If you can have the bone of someone, which is illegal in many countries, unfortunately, bones, like human remains, are such a taboo, which is unfortunate. But if you can, or even ashes, the ashes from somebody in your family that is very powerful for ancestor work, for example. But bones, they are like a connector. They are almost like a liminal space in itself between death and life. So whenever you have the chance of getting your hands on some bones, even if it's animal bones, it is something very, very useful to have. I don't have bones yet. I've been looking, but I don't have anything yet. I prefer to find that kind of thing in nature, but I haven't been lucky yet, so I'm waiting. And as a matter of fact, bone throwing is a very popular method of divination, so you can get very creative with bones. You can make wands with bones, and that tool, any tool made out of bones, will have a very specific energy towards death, transformation perhaps, and spiritual connection, especially the spirit that like those bones used to belong to. And last but not least, we have the broom, which I added last. I had forgotten about it. And the broom, there are two aspects about the broom. The broom for me mostly symbolizes cleanness, because before doing anything spiritual, you should make sure that your surroundings are clean. Dirt and a messy environment with food leftovers and whatnot. This is not good to have around if you are doing spirit work, for example. Everything should be very clean and neat in the house of a magical practitioner, especially in the place where you are going to perform rituals. So make sure that everything is clean, all right? And the broom is used for that purpose. Look at that, for cleaning the floor. Who would have thought? Yeah, nowadays we have vacuum cleaners, but back in the day, people used to do it with brooms. And sometimes I do think that brooms are better. I do. I had the chance of sweeping the floor with brooms. I think that today, not everybody can say that, like people who were born in the 21st century. I'm not sure if they have used brooms for cleaning anything. But anyway, so that is something very important, cleanliness. But having an actual broom with twigs and everything, I don't think it's really necessary. It's more like a matter of if it makes you happy, because in the decoration, in setting the mood and the atmosphere, it can be very nice, but I don't think it is needed, to be honest. So there we have our rank. Our objects, our magical tools are ranked in, like, my opinion. Okay, it is my opinion. If you disagree with me about something, please make sure to leave it in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. It is going to be fun. And if you think that I forgot something, that there should have been something else in here that I completely forgot about, leave it in the comments also, because maybe we could do a part 2 of this ranking magical tools kind of thing. If you liked what you've seen in this video, you already know it. Make sure to take a look at my Patreon page and the YouTube subscriptions, because on those platforms I share exclusive bonus content for only 1 cup of coffee per month. We're going to get weekly and monthly readings, spells according to the moon energies of each month, a closer look into my personal practice and my life, and much, much more. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, practice makes perfect. So let's get witching. Bye bye.